tried a lot of art supplies in my time, but there are 27 that I regret buying. Some might be a bit controversial, and others I'm sure you'll agree with me. I have the tea. Okay, starting off with the most meh to the worst art supplies. Ones that literally don't even work. In spot number 27, a little bit controversial, it is the Ecoline inks, the liquid watercolor. And let me show you why. A lot of the shades are light and pastel and perfect as they are, but that means you need a lot of colors to get any depth. Especially if you're using the wet on wet technique, it just turns lighter than this. But that's not the biggest reason. The biggest reason is this, okay? That one's nope. That one's a nope. Oh, that one's a nope. That one's a possibly with a towel. And that one is not happening. This is my biggest problem with these inks, okay? They are impossible to open. The way that they are designed, you can't even reach for pliers because they don't fit. They are so impossible to open. And even if you keep them clean, they're just so difficult like that. And that seems like such a silly reason. Like, it's a poor design. But if I can't open them on the spot, then I have to prepare the colors in advance. In the moment when you're creating art spontaneously, these just don't work. Sometimes we just cannot open them. Oh, moving on to an even more controversial one. In spot number 26, it's the Royal Talons Art Creations. I have the cream pages, not a fan of those, but that's not the reason, and the white one. Now, when I bought these sketchbooks, firstly, I thought they were going to be cheap, and I thought there'd be loads of lovely colors. Unfortunately, in the UK, a lot of the time we don't have loads of lovely colors to choose from, and this cost like £7. I thought it was going to be cheap. I've heard other people say like $2 or $3. Now this A4 white sketchbook with a pretty cover cost me £13. And yes, it is pretty, but look how warped those pages are. I used this for Peachtober and really struggled with watercolors on this paper. Even the ink, like look how quickly that dried. And yes, I do prefer this to the cream one. If you are only using it for sketching, yeah, absolutely fine. Watercolor is a big no-go, so I ended up using gouache a lot more. I do think something like acrylic markers would probably be fine. I ended up using it more like a sketchbook, and I think that ended up better, to be perfectly honest. However, when you consider that this little sketchbook cost like £6, I don't think I would buy it to only use it for drawing and sketches. This was just disappointing. It wasn't what I hoped, considering how loved they are online. Another one that is meh, but for my own personal reasons, I bought an Opera Rose watercolor paint. They are incredibly fugitive, so they can't go in the same palette as my light fast pigments. I made that palette at the exact same time as buying the paint and didn't quite consider that that means it needs to go in a different palette that I hardly use. Nothing on that paint in particular, but if you're gonna buy fun art supplies, maybe just think about how it fits into your day-to-day palettes and the way that you like to create. In spot number 24 is this. This is an angle paintbrush. It happens to be from Jackson's, and it's literally just an angle paintbrush. I thought it looked fun. However, how on earth do you use an angled paintbrush? I've heard people say flowers, but that is completely niche. And because of that, I've only used this a couple of times. It's just a little bit gimmicky, I found. Coming in spot number 23, in a plastic tub, in a bag, completely sealed and wrapped in cling film, is the Montmartre air dry clay. Gotta say, from the moment I got this and opened it, it surprised me that it was already quite hard. This is wrapped and completely sealed. Like, the plastic box was airtight as well. It does not have any give whatsoever. It is rock solid. Like, compared to other air dry clay, it starts hard, ends hard, and then you can't actually sculpt and move it around. In future, I'm probably just gonna get little bags of air dry clay. Having a big one like this is just too high risk, and not that brand. Oh, and spot number 22, this is controversial. The Etcher sketchbook. This is actually the Scene Series one. If you're new to the channel, hello, I'm ChantelleArts. We do art challenges, 24-hour ones, lots of silly projects, make an art studio, run a shop, and there's new videos every Thursday and Sunday, so why don't you subscribe? We also paint movie scenes. All of these for the Scene in series. There are so many that we've created now. And this is the Etcher Hot Press Sketchbook. I got this because I had the cold pressed one and wasn't a huge fan, so I thought this would be a little bit smoother. However, it dries really quickly, which has some unintended blooms in certain areas. It doesn't feel as 100% cotton as the cold pressed one did. But of course, saying that, I got this because I was disappointed in the cold pressed. And this one is worse. So all in all, unfortunately, yeah, just sketchbooks are just not worth the price, in my opinion. Disappointing. Coming in spot number 21 are these. The Artex acrylic markers that don't need to be shaken or pressed down or anything. They are fully just ready to go. Okay, we need a sketchbook. These were actually my first ever acrylic markers, so they do hold a special place in my heart. And I did get these gifted, but it was Artex, so I really had to work for it. However, if I'd have paid for these myself, I'd be disappointed. This is any old random color. That one's not too bad, but it's kind of deceptive at first because it looks like it works, and then you start filling an actual area and they just get lighter and lighter like that, which is completely different. It just gets lighter and lighter as it goes along. These are the cotton core ones, which means you don't have to press down, and like they're good, they're ready to go. They end up so dry, like look at that. That just does not look like acrylic paint in the slightest. They're fun to use, but I would say if you're thinking of getting the cotton style acrylic markers that are ready to go, make sure you use them up quickly. Literally just go for it. Don't be afraid to use them. Spot number 20 is a bit of an odd one. I picked up all of these sketchbooks in a Shein haul. To be honest, my plan was to get a ton of cheap sketchbooks and use them for specific art challenges or days out, and in one video we complete a whole sketchbook. But whilst I think you don't need the best supplies, this is so much thinner than I thought it would be. That is the paper. You can see everything to the point it's almost too bad to use. Like, I'd rather have half the number of pages and then be twice as thick. So what started as a nice little fun idea now means I have a ton of sketchbooks to somehow use up. Moving on to spot number 19. I hope you've got a drink with you. Make sure you keep drinking. This is an interesting one. It's the Gimmicks Jelly Gouache palette. You might have noticed there's nothing inside these. The Gimmicks Jelly Gouache are actually very good, and they're the perfect introduction to gouache. However, they are notorious for going moldy. There are kind of ways to prevent it, but unfortunately, if you live in a humid climate, there's only so much you can do. And often they can't be saved. I tried to save mine and it came back with a vengeance. So yes, jelly gouache is fantastic. Don't let this deter you from getting it. But if you do get them, use them. Use them quickly. In spot number 18 is this correction tape that you might have seen me try and figure out in the Shein haul, and then the Shein hauls revisited. And like, it does work. I can't believe that worked first time actually. However, if you're using it for any form of drawing, it needs to fully match the page, which it often won't. And I cannot believe that actually just worked first time. It's usually so unpredictable, but it actually worked. Oh wow. But you know what? I would not replace it if it runs out. Taking spot 17 on the regret list is all of these little acrylic paints. So these are De La Rowney. They are a named brand, which I thought meant they'd be pretty good, but they're obviously student grade. I ended up getting these because I didn't know how to mix colors. So I thought it would be easiest to get a ton of little acrylic paint tubes like this. However, you can be in the middle of a painting, need a color for the background, and your entire tube has gone because they are so small. They're student grade. They're not opaque, they're not very good, and if you just get into a painting and you're like, let me just paint this A4 background, the entire tube has gone, and then you're left with random little bits of colors here and there, and you can't really do much with it. I would suggest mixing colors, learning about mixing colors, not buying a ton of little tubes. It doesn't help in the long run. Get a white, yellow, pink, and blue. Trust me, it's better. Taking spot number 16, we have a controversial one. It's Posca paint markers. I bought these before all of the other acrylic marker brands came out, as I'm sure a lot of us have. Poscas are so expensive for what they are, and you can get better ones for a fraction of the price. My biggest gripe with Poscas, that you press them down. Oh, okay, no, maybe they're probably dead actually. Do you know what? I think these might be clogged. So, oh, okay, that one's coming out. Why does it look like it's exploding but also dry? What is that? Okay, that's not even proving my point. That's not what I was trying to do. It's not even all of that. Poscas splatter. They really splatter. You've created an entire piece in like watercolor or acrylics that you absolutely love, and then you reach for a Posca and it splatters. It scrapes across the page and it splatters. It doesn't matter how gentle you are, they splatter. And that is my biggest gripe with Poscas. Honestly, in this day and age, there are so many other companies out there now. Taking spot number 15, we have the Moleskine watercolor sketchbook. I've actually made an entire video on this. It's quite old, it was a while ago, but it still kind of stands. Moleskine is fancy, it's kind of expensive, and I thought the watercolor paper would be the same. But honestly, they should have stuck with drawing paper. It's still looking pretty warped, even though this has kind of been closed for years. The paper just does not stay wet. The wet on wet method is pretty impossible, so that leaves you with wet on dry. It just looks a bit patchy. It just doesn't seep into the paper. And I think most of the reason I was disappointed is this is like the first watercolor sketchbook I bought after using single sheets of paper for so long, and it was just disappointing. In spot number 14, we have this journal from Notebook Therapy. Oh, the galleys on social media got me with this one. I got 2 journals for like £75 because apparently they were the best. Hardback, cute, there's some gold on the side, but at the core of it, it's just a dotted journal. That's all it is. I thoroughly researched this journal, and this was supposed to be the best one. Like, this is gouache, we've got some collage stuck over here, we've got some, this is Posca, and don't get me wrong, this is watercolor paint, but look how warped that is. These are acrylic markers. You might recognize this one. This is Michelangelo's David, who's a print and sticker on the shop, as well as Medusa. Oh, that looks like it might have faded a little bit actually. I don't know, it is just marker and paper. I didn't think it was gonna warp that much. 2 journals for £75. I thought they'd be better. I did my research. They were supposed to be the best ones. So yes, these were disappointing, a very expensive disappointment. Taking spot number 13, it's these. It's not necessarily these, but the idea of fine tip acrylic markers. I have quite a few, and it seems like a really lovely idea. But when it comes down to it, they just get clogged so easily that they don't last very long. And at this point, it's like, am I supposed to take it all apart and soak it and try and unclog it? Who wants to do that when you're trying to reach for markers and create some art? They do just get clogged so easily. Choosing a set that has these kind of fine acrylics in, it's just not worth it in the long run. And the next item we don't even have anymore. Here we go. Here's a remnant. Can you guess what it is? This is the Pen Store Advent Calendar. It looks like this. We used it for an entire month for a Daily Doodle Diary episode. And it was supposed to be a fun episode where every day we opened the door and created art using just what was in it. But boy, some of the items we got in it. Okay. One kind of skin tone oil pastel. What am I supposed to do with one oil pastel that's that color? Another one is a pen loop. Can't really use it. Oh, that was a sad month. I mean, we also got this. 1 tube of ochre acrylic paint. Oh, and I got some terrible colors too. A white Kuretake. Oh, and this, we can't forget. A black Sharpie. It was £50 for reference, and one of the days was a black Sharpie. I've heard other people have mixed reviews. I think Kat Valk did it and was a bit disappointed too. It's a very disappointing advent calendar. And with that, we're moving on to spot 11, the Bauerhung hot pressed paper. This is technically 100% cotton, but it does not act like it. It's 300 GSM. It has all of the traits to be good paper, but it literally just acts like drawing paper. The watercolor dries really fast. I used it for a video, compared both, and the cold pressed is really good. Like, recommend the cold pressed, but the hot pressed is disappointing. It just doesn't work with watercolor. Defeats the point of getting 100% cotton paper. Taking spot number 10 is the silver and gold Faber-Castell Polychromos color pencils. Let's just pop it in here. This is the gold and this is the silver. Let me just try that again. Is it really that bad? Oh yes. Okay, definitely the gold. They are Faber-Castell Polychromos, so you would think they would be as good as the other ones. I mean, the silver does something, you can see it, but look at that gold. The gold is absolutely terrible, and even the silver is quite patchy. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind if they were just Faber-Castell, but calling them Polychromos and them not acting at all like any other Polychromos, that's not good. Next up, taking spot number 9, is very disappointing because this is actually a Princeton paintbrush. However, it's a dagger. This is one of those things you see on social media and you're like, oh, that looks really cool. Oh, that looks awesome. I can't do that with my regular brushes. I can't get that effect. I need a dagger brush. And then you get it and never use it because it's so incredibly niche and difficult to use. You're just not going to use it. This is literally a Princeton brush. They're hard to get here and I don't use it because it's a dagger. Oh, next up is a controversial one. I have strong feelings about this sketchbook. It's the Stillman and Byrne Beta sketchbook. This paper is thick, okay? Can you hear how thick that paper is? It feels like they've made it 300 GSM because that's what we like in a watercolor sketchbook. Without making the paper good, the Cardi paper is like 100 GSM and it's better than all of them. Just because a paper is thicker does not mean it's better. 100%. We've not even got to number 11 in the sketchbook tours yet, so we haven't seen this in all of its glory. Oh, there's a lot of sketchbook tours on the channel though. I'll leave the playlist below and maybe we'll get to this one. Oh, and by the way, all of the playlists are organized, so if you're looking for something to binge watch, maybe like the Create This Book or the Daily Doodle Diary or like timed art challenges, every single playlist is organized. I've also got one for every year, so it's super easy to binge watch like that. Oh, look at the transfer as well. The transfer in this sketchbook was crazy. And look at that, come on, that's not it. To be honest, the alpha is actually pretty okay. I've got that one. Go for the Strathmore 500 series instead. I have actually reviewed that one, and there's also an art supplies comparison on the channel too. Oh, we've done a lot. Oh, we got 7 to go. Now we're in the ones I really regret. Oh, are you ready? Da, 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 da. It's not exactly Winsor & Newton, okay? But why are we taught as beginner artists that we need to get a zinc white? This is gouache, but I've actually seen it in acrylic too. I got this big expensive tube of zinc white because apparently we needed to mix colors. I thought adding white would make it a bit more opaque. Zinc white, the mixing white, does not do that. Like, you still need a pure white, like titanium white, to mix colors and make them lighter. This doesn't actually make colors lighter really, and it doesn't really make it more opaque either. It doesn't do much at all. It just helps to mix colors together. Well, it didn't help me. Taking spot number 6, are you ready? It's Jelly Roll. I don't know why the internet keeps telling us that these are good. I'm sorry, they're not good. And people still swear by them, and to be fair, I do quite like the number 10, but there are better gel pens out there. This is the number 5. It just, you know, it just doesn't have that flow. The 10 is reasonable, but the 5, that's just not it. Then I got this in that awful advent calendar. I don't know what it is about this pen, but it just does not look good. I just cannot get this to work. I'm sorry, this does not work. Like, this is just not working. Why? And maybe it should have been higher actually, this one in particular. Look at that. What is that? And it's virtually brand new. I mean, look how much ink is in it. Number 5 is also from that advent calendar. And it's this. It's a green colour pencil, and you can actually go wrong with colour pencils quite easily. This is the Staedtler Norix. And in fact, it's a brand. I thought it would be decent. Not that they're known for their colour pencils, but what is that? Oh, look at it. It just has no pigment. Like, I am pressing down very hard. That's it. Even on this paper, like, it just does not have the pigment in it. It's not good. And to get it in an advent calendar to open the day and have this one pencil that doesn't really even have color in it. Oh, it's so disappointing. It was supposed to be Christmas. And not only that, it was my first ever art advent calendar. Oh, never again. Next up on the list of things that don't work. I got this corner rounder from Temu, but it's literally white label, okay? This is the style you can get on Amazon. You can get it in stores. And you pop a corner in and then you press it down. But it just does not work. It fundamentally doesn't work. I don't know why. I've tried it. I've tried it so many different times on so many different papers, and this is thin as anything. It does not cut. I have one I absolutely love, so I don't understand how this one can be so bad. Like, is it broken or is it a scam? Is it supposed to be like this? I don't know. We'll never know. But now we're moving on to the worst free art supplies I have, the ones I regret the most. And taking spot number 3 is this. This is a white label watercolor palette. I believe they're called Pearl Colors or Pearlescent watercolors. It came with a paintbrush, which has since been thrown away because it was absolutely awful. How can I open it? Oh, I actually made this for a video and I don't think it made it to the channel. There were some when I got my second camera and changed the setup that didn't actually make it, and I think this is one of them. I don't think you've seen this before. I mean, it's not impressive. The wells are actually deceptive. They are super thin, like you would run out immediately, and the colors are incredibly transparent, and I know they're kind of supposed to be, but I don't think they're meant to be this transparent. This is the page I made with them, and this was very painful to make. This was an experience. You can see just how thin they are. Maybe slightly better on black paper, but not really because they're just so thin and watery. Honestly, I regret buying them. I thought it would be fun. It was pain. Oh boy, number 2 is this. Okay, if you don't recognize it, we painted over it. I hate this sketchbook, okay? It's the Canson XL Mixed Media Sketchbook. It has transfer. It has this awful texture. Look how liney it is. I genuinely hate this sketchbook with a burning passion, and that's why it hasn't been finished. You can see the lines are just so obvious. This texture is really what lets this one down. However, the watercolor sketchbook doesn't seem to have it, so that might be the better one to go for. It's not good, and you can't really hide lines across the entire page. So yeah, that's number 2 spot. Regret it. I need to finish the sketchbook, but it's not going down. Now, taking the number 1 spot, what is it? This is an art supply that doesn't work. It does not work how they intended and how it's advertised. It's this Art Graph Kneadable Putty Graphite. Kneadable putty. But what does mine look like? Well, we used it for one video and it literally just started cracking and falling apart from the very beginning. Looked at the reviews and most people said the same thing. Now, this is what it looks like. This is our kneadable putty graphite. Honestly, if you haven't already, you've got to check out the video. This was a Christmas present and I tried so hard to like it, but it's not kneadable, it's not putty. It is messy lumps of graphite that just crack and shrink and get smaller each time. And it's actually about $13. It's a lot of money to not work. And it smells. And those are the 27 art supplies I regret buying. I regret having them. Let us know down below if there's any art supplies you regret buying. It's really helpful to know and talk about these things so that we can avoid making that mistake. Well, thank you for joining. Why don't you go make some art? And I'll meet you back here on Sunday. Bye bye.